Here we fucking go. First December stream ever, I believe. I don't think I've ever streamed in December. Cool. Anyway, it's Friday, December 17th, meaning I am done with my semester and done with finals. Yes. Vacation time. And in a few days I'll be in Florida for from December 20th. Yeah, that's Monday's date. Yeah. To December 26th. I'm saying 6 days, 1 day shy of a week. It's going to be weird not spending Christmas in New York. It's going to be my first Christmas out of state. First Christmas away from family, too, or at least the family that I live with. I'm going to be with my grandmother and father. And I'm going alone this time to Florida. My mom was supposed to come. She was invited, but uh, some health problems kept her from going. She's fine. It's nothing serious, but she decided it's best to stay behind. So, yeah, should be an experience. Anyway, there's a whopping one person watching this right now. How are you doing today? Hope you're happy and healthy. I say Robert is the only one here. You're good. That's good. That's good. Hopefully, people start filing in. They usually do after a few minutes. No, there is a second person here. Will I meet DeSantis? Hopefully not. More than likely not. Would would prefer to never be in the presence of that piece of shit, but yeah, it's the holiday season, and you know, it's weird how fucking fast 2021 flew by. I mean, Jesus Christ, felt like a minute ago. It just 2021 just began. Like fuck, where does the time go? Where the fuck does the time go? Hope you have a great Christmas. Thank you, Robert. Likewise, I hope you have a good Christmas as well. It should be good. I mean, again, it'll be the first Christmas not in New York for me and first Christmas away from my immediate family. So, it should be a different experience, hopefully a positive one. I'm sure it'll be fine because again, I'll be with my grandmother and my father. But still, it's going to be kind of different. I'm doing okay. How are you doing today? I bet that'll be interesting spending Christmas in a warm climate. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Actually, my grandma said it's been in the 70s lately in Florida. What's the temperature in there over there right now? Wonder. It is currently 80 degrees in Florida. Jesus. What's it going to be the day I arrive? 67 the highest. All right. Seems like it's going to cool down the entire time I'm there. 60s uh, and low 70s. Hello, devil, wolf of legend. Probably visit my grandmother in Virginia. That's nice for Christmas, I assume. I'm sure that'll be nice. Oh yeah, I have my phone of the highest brightness, so it's gonna reflect a lot. It's 59. Wow. It's been kind of a warm December here in New York as well. It's 58 over here right now. What the fuck? Not used to it being this warm in December. It's been in like the 50s and late 40s for the most part here in New York during this December. Hello from Las Vegas, Nevada. Happy holidays. Thank you. Happy holidays from New York. I do want to go to New York someday, maybe visit the Nintendo World Store, see the Statue of Liberty and the World Trade Center. Well, I've been to the Statue of Liberty, or I haven't actually been on the piece of land it's on, but gone on ferries and seen the Statue of Liberty from a distance. And I've been to the new World Trade Center, of course, not the old one because it fell when I was like 6 months old. And never been to the Nintendo World Store, surprisingly. I probably should visit that store someday, considering it's in NYC and I live here in NYC. But surprisingly, I haven't been to that Lego store in Times Square though. That was a pretty cool store. I got that was like approaching 6 years. I remember getting this blue mug from there that I don't drink from anymore. I did for a brief period when I first got it, but I don't even know where it is. Ever since the renovation, a lot of our stuff, a lot of the kitchen stuff is just disappeared. Yeah, I know climate change is big plays a big factor into why it is abnormally warm in December in New York. Yeah, I'm in the NYC metro area, so our temperatures should be similar. It was 70 in my area a couple of days ago, 36 now. Extremely weird weather. Damn, what a change. 70 one day, 36 the next. Did you hear about Shad Base getting arrested? No. I that, that name sounds vaguely familiar, but what's up, dude? Lag. Oh, whoa, I'm lagging. Breaking up bad. Anyone else experiencing that? Considering everyone else is talking like normal, I guess it's just on your end. I don't know. It's lagging. Fuck my life. Let me listen. It's lagging. Fuck my life. Well, okay. Is it bad to the point where it's unwatchable? Like literally unwatchable. You can't stay here and watch the stream. Is it just minimal lag? Is it really really bad lag, or just is it something that you could just stomach? Devil Wolf. If it's tight, stop being fucking babies. Deal with it. earlier, but it starts working normally once you exit and re-enter. You look like an Italian mafia leader. I've been called many things, but I've never been called that, so thank you, I guess. I guess I should be I guess I should take that as a compliment. Just a decrease in quality, 720p for me. Uh, it was bad lag, it's fine now. I just checked the weather and it said there was a chance of snow on Christmas. Wow, nice. What will the weather be like in New York on Christmas? Um, I'm not gonna be in New York this Christmas, but it hasn't snowed on Christmas Day in New York in forever. At least, not that I remember. 42 degrees, partly sunny. Yeah, whatever. I haven't cared about snow on Christmas since I was a kid, so whatever. Can I join your mafia? Sure. Anyone who's watching this stream is free to join my crime family. I look like Jesus, but the short-haired version. All right, that's that's really stretching it now. Oh, more fucking lag. Thank you, YouTube, for giving me this lovely comment notification. Left on my Imagine Dragons video just now. And I hate you so much. Fact. We all know you are jealous of Imagine Dragons. Oh, uh, never, never stops being amusing reading those types of comments. Totally. Normally rains on Christmas. Usually, the weather on Christmas here in New York is just. I don't remember rain on Christmas for a while. I don't remember it raining on Christmas the past few years, at least. Usually, just kind of just regular sunny weather. I remember when I was a kid, I used to be really bummed over there being no snow on Christmas and the sun would be out because in all these movies and TV shows, Christmas is depicted as this day where it's snowy out. You know, you go outside, make snowmen, make snow angels after you open up your presents. And I was just kind of disappointed that a lot of years New York didn't get that kind of weather on Christmas, but after a certain age, you just kind of get over it. Snow on Christmas is rare. Well, I guess at least depending on where you live. Rarely snows on Christmas in Denver. Never been to Denver. There's been snow over here in Alabama. There's never been snow over here in Alabama since January 2017. Yeah, considering the climate in Alabama, I would imagine snow is pretty rare over there. But Hurt Fan Alert, yeah. I like that these ancient videos of mine, some of them still get comments left by angry people to this day. That is highly insulting. Highly, highly insulting. Considered you and OBA to be very similar. And also, friendly reminder, I don't give a shit about Miiverse anymore. Would you feel like playing Splatoon with me? Oh, I haven't played Splatoon since sometime last year, I think. Yeah, maybe someday. Probably. If I even have you added on my Switch. But yeah, it's been a hot minute since I played Splatoon. Is there did Nintendo ever announce the release date for, or at least a release window for Splatoon 3? I forget. It's supposed to be sometime next year, right? I probably haven't played Splatoon since probably I'd say spring or summer of 2020, I think, maybe. I don't know. Ever since I started playing the GameCube again, I really haven't been on the Switch at all. And especially ever since getting the PlayStation 5, but I've said that a billion times. Comes out next year, day that I get day one. I think. Splatoon 3, same game all over again, just like Splatoon 2. But the online is fun. They don't do Splatfest anymore for Splatoon 2 because they knew Splatoon 3 was going to be on the horizon. GameCube is an underrated classic. I agree. Highly agree. It's a fun console to collect games for. Too bad the games are very, very expensive. But that's the price you pay when you collect for a console that is 20 years old now, I guess. People do be living in 2016 still, it seems. I guess so. I don't know what that's really in reference to. Well, yeah, there are plenty of people actually still living in 2016. Look at all those SJW owned channels that are still surprisingly active to this day. Old games are never cheap, especially the popular ones. Yeah, unfortunately. Just emulate, just emulate. For me personally, I know I could probably just easily emulate the GameCube's library. Well, I have a MacBook Pro. I don't know how. I'd probably be able to run GameCube games, I'm sure, but I don't know. I just like that authentic experience. Having the disc, playing it on an actual GameCube with an actual GameCube controller. Even though there probably are ways to get an actual GameCube controller working on your computer, but still, it's a part of the fun is the collecting for me. That's what I'm trying to say. some people are still stuck in the alt-right and Ben Shapiro circles. Yeah, that's still a pretty big sector of the internet, unfortunately. It probably will continue to be a big sector of the internet for a long time. But as long as there is a sufficient enough pushback, I'm all right. People like Hassan, the Twitch streamer, keep saying that there's going to be a repeat of 2016 where we see a bunch of chud content, which I don't know if it's going to be at the same level exactly as it was in 2016 because there's plenty of big left wing channels, pretty big leftist channels now. Whereas in 2016 there were hardly any, and most of the lefty channels were just ridiculed to no end by a lot of all these big conservative YouTubers. So I don't know if I'll ever see something like that ever again because again now we have so many prominent channels that are very left leaning or full on leftist that are pushing back against all of the conservative nonsense. Emulation isn't the same without the original controls. Well, pardon my ignorance, but there probably is a way to use OG controllers for emulation, I think. I don't know. I'm personally not the biggest fan of emulation. Not because it's illegal or anything like that, or not necessarily illegal, or really just any of the reasons a lot of people bring up to ridicule emulation. But for me, I just like that authentic experience, you know? Unless it's a game that I don't have any access to at all, like say Mother 3, I can't play that game authentically unless I have a Japanese Game Boy, a cartridge of Mother 3, and that game is only in Japanese, so I can't even I wouldn't even know what the fuck to do because the text is in a language I don't understand. So that's really I've played Earthbound a couple of times on an emulator on my laptop, but I only used keyboard and mouse, and I wasn't a big fan of it. But I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I wasn't the biggest fan of playing Earthbound that way. If I really wanted to, I probably could have just set up the Pro controller, the Switch Pro controller with my laptop. I think it can work with my laptop. But hopefully someday soon, Earthbound gets a release on the Switch Online. I don't know what the fuck Nintendo is waiting for with that. I mean, it was on the Wii U. It was on, I think, the SNES Classic. Why the wait for Switch Online? I don't get it. Nintendo is so fucking weird. Why do they? Ugh, this company, man. There's a GTA game I'm getting, GTA Trilogy. Yeah, maybe it's stable now. I don't know. I haven't heard much about the GTA Trilogy in weeks, so maybe it's better. I don't know. Having the original PS3 would be nice if that Spartacus rumor is false or it's something else. I'm not getting my hopes. I'm not getting my hopes up too much for Spartacus. I mean, maybe it'll be amazing. I don't know, but I am. Sony is prone to disappoint, so I'm not. Again, I'm not. Then I'm keeping my hype in check when it comes to Spartacus. But my dream would be Spartacus finally allowing PS3, PS2, maybe even not PS1, if physical discs at least. You know, backwards compatibility with consoles that aren't just the PS4 for the PS5. That would be my fucking dream. But you know, I'm not expecting that. But I don't know. PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan few months ago was saying how stupid his original stance on backwards compatibility was. I mean, because he used to say, "Who plays old games anymore? No one plays that anymore. I tried playing old games and I can't even fucking play this shit. So why would anyone else want to play old games?" God, way to be so fucking out of touch with your consumers. Jesus Christ. But he has since walked that back. Maybe that was in preparation for Spartacus. But again, I'm keeping my hype in check with Spartacus. For all we know, it could just be a completely false rumor, but I don't know. It's probably gonna be something at least. Vocal voice. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially in certain corners of the internet, or well, you don't really have to dig that much to find MAGA pieces of shit. Just look at any news video talking about the vaccine or COVID. It's just filled to the brim with people like that. The Hodge twins are a bit of a conservative channel, but now I see more left-leaning channels. Yeah, I've heard of Hodge twins. I've never really watched their content, but I've seen response videos to their content. Not good. Not good, to say the least. I remember going through an anti-SJW chud phase, but got out of it after 1 year and 2 months. Mine lasted probably about... I really started going hard with that shit around 2017. 2016, I was, kind of dabbling in the anti-SJW stuff. Talking about people like Anita Sarkeesian, ooh, and, other people who were just easy targets back then, or not really even easy targets, just people that people really liked harassing a lot back then. And, doing shit like that. But, like the really edgy stuff, I started getting really heavy into around 2017, and I stopped doing that for the most part around 2019. So about 2 years for me. 2 years, and I don't know how many months because I don't really keep track of that. Project 64 and Dolphin let you change controls. I see. You actually helped me out of my phase, Mikey. Wow, really? Did I? Flattered. Considering that this channel, I've always made clear, is just my opinion. I don't make videos to sway people, but if my videos do have that effect on some people, I'm not complaining. Michael has some controversial opinions. I do, I guess. I don't know. I don't really like saying my opinions are controversial or anything because I feel like that's kind of pretentious and me trying to be like, ooh, look at me, I'm a badass. My opinions are controversial. Or at least that's the impression I get when other people say their own opinions are controversial. I'd rather that be a label that other people ascribe to certain views. Also gets remastered. Capcom hinted plans to do so. I don't know if I'd be that interested uh, in playing that. Isn't that one of those fighting games? I'm not really into that stuff. Certain band is calling Rage Against the Machine Rage for the Machine because they think people should protect themselves from COVID with a mask. Yeah, I can't stand. I can't stand all these conservatives trying to be like they're trying to claim Rage Against the Machine. I guess that's the right choice of words, maybe. But considering that the band is ostensibly not conservative at all, and yet there's videos of people with like Trump flags and MAGA hats dancing to Rage Against the Machine. Fucking Jesus. If you were born with a cock, you are a man. If you were born... Okay, all right, goodbye. It was a mistake, so I ever forgive this person. I'm sorry, I didn't see that message until I, finally got to it after reading all the messages that preceded it. Bigotry is not tolerated here. I have no clue who Mia King is. This is my first time seeing this person back. They commented on that Miiverse video I made like a week ago. They're one of those people that only come by when I talk about Miiverse, and one of those people who almost exclusively talks about Miiverse with me, even though I've made it clear that I haven't cared about the site in years. They still kind of think of me as that kid that always talks about Miiverse. But they were saying how stupid they were back years ago when they were saying when essentially I was bullying him. I'll be honest, when he was like 12. And I regret that. I'm not trying to justify me doing that. I was unfairly mean to him when he was just 12 years old. When I was cringe. But that kind of shit is unacceptable. I'm not, yeah, fuck him for that. Conservatives will always go her, lefties complain and cancel over everything, but whine about the most trivial things. Yeah, I mean, well, they're the ones that whine about trivial things. I mean, fucking look at them. Complain about what? Dr. Seuss, Mr. Potato Head, uh, just recently some My Little Pony movie or TV show or whatever the fuck. Yeah, these are really things you should focus on. Oh, and not to mention some Muppet wore a dress or whatever for like 2 seconds. These are the real issues you should focus on, definitely. I don't know what the fuck is up in my throat today. I keep clearing it. Sup? Hope the Christmas hurry isn't too bad. No, I don't really. The holiday season has been treating me well. No, nothing hectic going on or anything. Lola Bunny. Oh yeah, there's some controversy with that bunny character from Looney Tunes movie. I forget what that was all about though. Wasn't that surrounding Space Jam too? I remember watching the first movie when I was like 5. It used to be on Cartoon Network all the time, and maybe it still does play on Cartoon. I don't know. I haven't watched Cartoon Network in years, but yeah, I don't hear many good things about that movie these days. But I mean, I don't know. I don't hear many good things about Full House, but I'm rewatching Full House. It was a show that I loved as a kid, and I still like it, despite it being very, corny, kind of lame. But guilty pleasure is guilty pleasure. Aren't there racist Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and Mickey Mouse cartoons? Looney Tunes, definitely. I think there are racist Mickey Mouse cartoons, and were there racist Tom and Jerry cartoons? I don't think Tom and Jerry really did much of that, or at least I haven't seen it. I don't know, but yeah, I don't remember there being any, or at least obvious. Focus on fictional movies and toys, but ignore wars, racism, and poverty. Yeah, sounds like logic to me, at least in a dumb conservative. Because they don't have any real solutions to any of the problems we face in society, any solutions to socioeconomic issues in our society. So they just focus on this dumb culture war bullshit because Republicans have fucking nothing aside from that. They have nothing that would appeal to the common voter base in this country, to much of the voter base in this country. So this is what they focus on: woke people, uh, trans people. All this. Just discriminating against certain groups of people, trying to make up these false issues. This is all they fucking have. There is that Donald Duck Nazi propaganda cartoon. Yeah, I remember that Donald Duck was a Nazi, but was that a Nazi propaganda cartoon? I thought that was supposed to make fun of Hitler. Conservatives have no principles; they're just reactionaries, all pretty much. Ugh. I think it was Talkit. Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think it was an actual, like, legit pro-Nazi cartoon. That was commissioned by the US military, yeah. Conservatives love calling themselves pro-working class, but has done everything in their power to fuck them over for their own benefits because they only serve the 1% in this country. They're corporatists. They don't actually care about the common folk. They only care about riling the common folk up when it comes to these dumb culture or bullshit issues because again, they do not have any real issues. They don't have any real solutions that would actually benefit society. So they just distract people away from that fact by focusing on critical race theory or any other bullshit made up issue that they want to throw in your face. Keep politics out of my movies, racism in movies. Conservatives say nothing. It's funny because media for the longest time has had political messaging, and they don't really seem to mind when that political messaging is something that they are in favor of. But the moment it is something that is anti-racist or pro LGBTQ plus or anything of the sort, they throw a damn hissy fit. Basically, no, go by this. When you hear someone say, keep politics out of my media, they 9 times out of 10 actually mean keep politics that I disagree with out of media. Mr. Enter made a chud response to extra credits. Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me considering Mr. Enter's politics are not the best. I really just stopped paying attention to him after his really bad pandemic video he made around the time the pandemic first started, basically advocating for people to just get the virus, and if they die, they die. Just kind of brushing that off like it's nothing. That's when I was like, yeah, I don't think I wanna watch this person anymore, and I think I'm actually still subbed to him. I guess I just forgot to unsubscribe, but I haven't watched his content in a while. There actually was a video that popped in my, homepage, like, a month or 2 ago, where he was talking about some editor he had and some drama surrounding said editor, and I was watching for, like, 5 minutes, and then I realized, I don't think I really care all that much about this, so I just clicked off the video. Scott the Woz is definitely my favorite since he wore a Black Lives Matter shirt. Yeah, I heard that guy is based. I haven't seen much of his content. I should probably watch him more because the few videos I've seen by him are actually pretty good. It's funny because critical race theory is like the most bare bones approach of what if racism bad and institutionally prevalent, but it's a buzzword to demonize. Yeah, of course. I mean, absolutely. Like, it is such a non-issue. And now it's like one of the mainstream talking points among conservatives. Now you have parents railing against their schools for teaching about Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, and they label that as critical race theory. And they say, "Stop teaching my child this. Stop shoving all this Marxist propaganda down my child's throat." And this is shit that schools have taught for years, decades. When Turkey Tom called Mr. Enter a pedo. Well, I don't like Mr. Enter all that much, but that was completely uncalled for. I believe he only called him a pedo because his cartoon and starred children. Because that's totally because a bunch of other cartoons totally don't have children as the main protagonists. Definitely. Quit Mr. Enter a long time ago. One of my favorite YouTubers is Son Call Me Johnny. I've heard of that guy. Don't I probably seen some videos by him, but I don't remember any of them. Sucks that Mr. Enter's political takes are so atrocious considering that he's ace and autistic. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Not everyone's perfect. Never understood the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. I know you did a video on it though. Oh yeah, I did. Like 2 years ago, right? I forgot I made that. Should watch it again, see if I still like it. But no, I still do stand by what I probably said back then. Absolutely should not be in school. All it does is enforce blind patriotism upon young students who don't even know what the fuck they're pledging allegiance to because they were too young to even understand what they are reciting. I just think it's weird. Characteristic of it's so fucking weird to make young children recite something like that. Does anyone else agree? Like this is shit. Like this is shit you would see in like some dystopian future movie where they make kids recite a pledge to some evil dystopian futuristic society, and yet we have it here in our schools. Or hell, I'm sure even in places like North Korea, people are pledging allegiance to Kim Jong Un or whatever. Overall, it's just a it just reeks of you know it just reeks of wanting to I guess brainwash or at the very least just instill all these values that children do not have the mental capacity to grasp at their age. Fascism should be given the same treatment wokeism gets. Well, it depends what you mean by woke, but if you mean like the hyper purity lefties, then yeah, I mean sure. Yeah, there's way too many people who are more sympathetic towards fascism in this country, and it irks me. Either knowingly or not so knowingly. Pledge allegiance is dumb only because of McCarthyism and anti-communist propaganda. Yeah, I know. You can explain that gay people are valid with being overly sexual. You can explain that gay people are valid people with being overly sexual to kids without being overly sexual. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't get why people don't understand that because it's just to smear the LGBTQ plus community. That's really all it is. Smear them as pedophiles because they're just bigoted pieces of shit that don't like these kinds of people. So they try to ascribe the worst kinds of labels towards them. And they try to get they try to get society on their side by trying to say they're pedophiles and all these erroneous things that many people in the LGBTQ plus community aren't. and they know that much of society, of course, rightfully hates pedophiles. So if they smear them enough, society would be like, "Oh, this is the group that is pro pedophilia," or any other of these stupid smears that they may have bought into. But bottom line, it's all just a way to malign these people, keep them marginalized because they don't like these kinds of people, and it's just gross. Funny how so many reality they whine just as much about guns and yeah, I've always hated this bravado, this veneer bravado that a lot of conservatives have. They're the alpha male. They're not a snowflake, and they hate these SJWs that are so sensitive. When in reality, they whine more than a lot of people on the left. Again, about all these fucking stupid trivial things like children's cartoons, children's toys, children's books. Like, you wanna pretend to be the alpha male? You wanna pretend to be the person who's not the snowflake when this is the shit that festers in your mind rent free? Was on the phone with my mom for a minute, which is why I was gone for a minute. That's fine. I have other obligations. You have things that are a bigger priority than watching me stream. Those of us in the LGBT community need respect and deserve equality. Absolutely. Speaking of pedophiles, that same woman who got fired and then arrested in Florida for trying to provide accurate COVID data is running against Matt Gaetz. Not sure if she'll win. Yeah, and fucking Florida. That's why I only choose to visit Florida, and I don't plan on ever living there. Even my grandma, she can't stand a lot of the people she lives around because she lives in a community of people that are 55 and over in Florida, so that's like the prime base for Trump and, Republicans in general. And she hears like the most vile, bigoted shit from them all the time. So like every time she's with her friends, like playing cards or whatever, she just refuses to bring up politics because she knows that it'll just bring out the worst of the people she's around. You know, she's pro. She's progressive, I guess. I haven't really dug too much into her politics, but she doesn't deny COVID. She wears a mask. She's vaccinated. She's not racist. But all of the people she's around in that community are those things. So I just feel bad for her. Fuck Rhonda fascist. Agree. Me if I'm wrong, but the Dr. Seuss books are moved and no one actually cared about. Yeah, they have even heard of, and I'm willing to bet most people haven't heard of before they were even removed. And yet conservatives tried to like twist this into Dr. Seuss is getting canceled. Oh my god, they're canceling Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham. When no, they're not. They're only stopping publication of the books that no one fucking read. Books that had essentially blackface or stupid stereotypes of Asian people. Like, why does that need to be in a children's book in the year 2021? Please explain that to me. Even Dr. Seuss himself, I think, regretted those books, or at the very least, regretted, his racist cartoons. So I'm sure he regretted those books that had those offensive depictions of minority groups. So if these are books that even Dr. Seuss himself probably considered his less desirable work, Why do they still need to be in circulation? Why do people still need to read them, especially children? Like, imagine like, say, an Asian parents get a bunch of Dr. Seuss books without even thinking about it, and they get that one book that literally says, I'm sorry, bit of a forewarning here, uh, anti-Asian slur, that literally says Chinaman in it, and then their kid fucking reads it. Fuck Greg Abbott as well. Yeah. Seen a lot of DeSantis 2024 flags. I would not be surprised if he ran, and I especially would not be surprised if he won. What a country we live in. What a country we live in. Did Dr. Seuss actually regret it? I don't know if he regretted those books. I'm just kind of assuming he did because a lot of those books had again the books getting that got pulled were books that had offensive stereotypes of minority groups, and he did express regret later in life for his pretty racist not Civil War, World War II era comics where he that had pretty racist depictions of Japanese people. So that's why I just assume that he later in life regretted those books, or at the very least did not like the offensive depictions that were in those books. But again, I don't know why it was such a source of controversy because these were books that no one read or hardly anyone read. What were the books that were pulled? None of them I remember none of them being ones I heard of. 6 Dr. Seuss books won't be published for racist images. What are they called? Give me a list. If I Ran the Zoo, McElligot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, The Cat's Quizzer. Like, have any of you read any of these books? I certainly haven't. I never heard of any of them. Oh yeah, If I Ran the Zoo or On Beyond Zebra. So much nostalgia surrounding those two classics. Yeah, said no one ever. Confederate flag should be treated like the Nazi symbol and not be tolerated, in my opinion. I absolutely agree. I don't know why it's such a source of controversy. Well, I kind of do know why it's such a source of controversy in this country, but still, if your pride comes from people who tried to secede from this country, literally to preserve slavery, white supremacists who wanted to secede from this country because they wanted to secede, they wanted to preserve slavery, then maybe your pride comes from bigotry and hatred. Maybe, just maybe. Like, that flag symbolizes people who wanted, the white supremacists who wanted, to keep black people enslaved, and they were willing to fight to the death for it. These figures in history should not be held in reverence. There should not be statues of these people. These fucking Confederate flags should not be flown on public property. Like, I don't understand why the fuck is this such. Why the fuck do people take contention with someone saying that the Confederate flag is a hate symbol when it literally fucking is? It represents people who wanted to preserve slavery. It is by definition a hate symbol. And notice all these Republicans, they always say, "Oh, the Democrats these days." It's the Democrats that wanted to preserve slavery, and us Republicans, our party is the one that freed the slaves. And they completely ignore the party shift that has occurred since the Civil War. And meanwhile, these are the same people that probably fly Confederate flags. So yeah, I totally believe that you guys would have been on the side of freeing the slaves if you were to live back in the days of the Civil War. I think I have a really vague memory of reading those books that got removed when I was 4. Well, even that, I don't think you exactly cherish them like you do with, say, probably Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham or any of the other books that people actually remember. Only Republican that supported BLM was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, fucking, ugh. Ugh. Just got a text. Sorry. So many conservatives will say extreme leftists are the problem. Meanwhile, many will happily tolerate or associate with neo Nazis because they are free speech. It's fucking hilarious that um it's fucking hilarious that all these conservatives now are like that they're mocking people like Hassan and Vosh for getting banned off of Twitch. They're like, "Oh, I thought you were for free speech. Meanwhile, you don't like that you got banned off of Twitch for saying cracker." Like, there's kind of sort of a difference from saying cracker to saying compared to saying the N word, and also there's kind of a difference between saying cracker and being a literal fucking neo-Nazi. Good lord, my uncle's loud. I'm sorry if you've heard him for like the past half hour. Fucking hell. I'm getting a bit sidetracked. Uh my mom is texting me right now about something. You didn't know Mitt Romney supported BLM? Yeah, he supposedly supports BLM at least. I wouldn't really I wouldn't really consider Mitt Romney an ally to the BLM movement though. Conservatives are worse than liberals. At least liberals are open to Black Lives Matter and progressivism. Oh, absolutely. Fuck Jimmy Dore and all these other people within the Jimmy Dore sphere, trying to rehabilitate people or at least, sanitize people who are still very clearly hateful pieces of shit like the Boogaloo Boys, trying to say these people are actually on our side because they supposedly support BLM when really they don't. They're white supremacists, or they have some populist beliefs. Yeah, they have distrust in the government. Cool. Like soda fat. Well, Boogaloo Boys are fascists, but still, just because someone is a populist does not mean I will automatically ally myself with them. I think I have more common ground with a milquetoast liberal because those people are more prone to being open to more progressive movements like BLM. Like, for example, people like my mother or my paternal grandmother, my last grandparent alive. They both support the BLM movement, and they are not leftists in the slightest. My mom's the basis of my mom's politics back in 2020 was just get Trump out of office, get Biden in office because he is not Trump. And I agree, even though I hate Biden, he is still he's still preferable over Trump. I'm not gonna pretend that they're the exact same, the mirror images of one another, but still, I would happily talk to someone like that and maybe get them maybe have them be more on board with more, radical leftist ideas because maybe they'd be more open to hearing about those ideas and maybe they'd be more on board with, you know, ascribing themselves or at least, agreeing with those ideas or holding those beliefs if they talk to the right person, and got to know more about these kinds of beliefs. But instead, so many people among the left want to shun liberals, and fuck the bourgeois liberals. I'm talking about like regular working class libs. I'm not talking about like wealthy elite libs. Of course not, or even just corporatist Democrats in office. But I'm talking about regular working class milquetoast liberals. I think a lot of them can be swayed if taught to the right person. If they were turned on by these ideas or they'd be turned on these kinds of ideas. Libs, have this holier than thou kind of attitude because they're more left than liberals. It's frustrating. It's getting dark. Remember last stream I had to turn on the lights. Almost getting to that point in this stream. Someone tried to say whites are oppressed because of the Irish discrimination when that had nothing to do with race. On a systemic level, people are not discriminated for being white. People can be discriminated for being white if there can be someone can be racist towards white people, but it is not a systemic issue. Like again, with this whole fucking stupid cracker discourse that Hassan kickstarted, you know, cracker is a racial slur. Hassan says otherwise, but it is a racial slur, but it is not one that is on the same level as, say, the N word, and it is not nearly as bad as other slurs of the sort. And that's why it's okay to say cracker and not the N word, because one word is a word that is used to dehumanize an actual marginalized group of people, and that is most certainly not white people. I really don't want the fascist party to get back in power, but it looks like they'll be taking it in next year's midterms. Oh yeah. Unless a miracle happens, unless Democrats finally grow a fucking spine, they're gonna get demolished in midterms. And anyone who will be surprised by this is a fucking idiot if they didn't see it coming. Yeah, I don't doubt that those kinds of people exist. They absolutely do exist. I used to be very hard line against the notion that reverse racism exists. A marginalized, well, a non-white person being racist towards, say, a white person. I used to be like, no, you can't be racist towards white people because they're not systemically oppressed. And I disagree with that now. I mean, I obviously still agree that white people are not systemically oppressed, but they can be discriminated on the basis of their skin color. Am I saying that's a huge issue? I don't really think it's that prevalent of an issue, but it exists. You see plenty of that on Twitter. Fuck Joe Manchin. I know he's not the only problem, but he's caused the most issues. He is pretty much a Republican. Like, he is pretty much a Republican that's in the Democratic Party. Like, he is not. Again, I'm still texting my mom. It's just again, sorry, I'm not paying full attention to the stream chat here. But yeah, I can't stand Joe Manchin, the most right wing Democrat, and that really says a lot considering all the corporatists in that fucking party. Was just watching your video about talking about video games. I wish I can get the PS5, but it's too much money. But I have a Nintendo Switch. Hopefully, they put GTA 5 series. Hopefully, you'll put the GTA series. Well, the trilogy came to the Switch. I don't know when, if ever, GTA 5 is going to come to the Switch. I don't know which gaming video you're talking about. I've done quite a few of those. Hello, Leo. But my favorite videos of you doing the rant videos. Well, if you're trying to say you like the rant videos the most, well, don't fret. Those are the videos I do the most. So I'm definitely going to do more. Maybe not in the coming week, though, because I'll be in Florida, but, when I get back. I still got to finish my worst YouTubers of 2021 video. I'll probably finish it when I get back from when I get back home. These next few days are going to be hectic with packing for my trip. So, yeah, then I'm probably not going to have time to make videos. To be honest, I probably really shouldn't be doing this stream right now. I should probably be packing, but nah. Packing is not fun and streaming is fun, so I'd rather be doing this right now. Mm. Need to someday get around to playing RE4. Base to do it now. Get off this stream and start playing RE4 right now. Just shit. Just kidding. No, you already know my love for that game, and I'm currently in the middle of my 18th playthrough of RE4 on my GameCube. Oh Jesus. Right now I've been playing Majora's Mask 3D. I played through that once and it wasn't a bad game. Look, I know Majora's Mask is either regarded as one of the best or by many people the best Zelda game, but me personally, it just didn't sit right with me. I mean, again, it wasn't a bad game, but it's definitely not one of my favorite Zelda games. I wasn't the biggest fan of the time constraint. I know you could reset time. I understand all of that, but still, just the constant stress of doing everything within the 3 days, everything I want to do it within the 3 days, and about not risking, running out of time. Just the constant stress of that, I wasn't a fan of. So I only played it once, and I don't really have much plans to play it again. Or unless I manage to get a hold of that GameCube collection that has Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask bundled in with it, then I would give Majora's Mask another whirl. I hear the N64 version is considerably harder, or a little harder, than the 3D remake, and has some more things that are a bit more frustrating. And Majora's Mask on GameCube is essentially a port, the N64 one, of the N64 original. Did it dethrone Mother 3 as your favorite? No. Truth be told, I would. I played Earthbound so many times, probably even more than RE4 years ago when I was still playing on the Wii U. I'd play Earthbound over and over again and not get sick of it. And I think the same would be. I think I think the same case would be with Mother 3 if Mother 3 was actually readily available on a Nintendo console, not just if Nintendo were to actually port it onto the Switch, if Nintendo were to actually port it onto the Switch, I probably would play that game over and over again. I just loved it so much, but since you could only play it via emulation, that just deters me from wanting to play it, or at least play it often, because I'm not the biggest fan of playing on emulators, like I've already made clear. I played Mother 3 on my phone 2 years ago. First time I played it was, what, 2017, 2019? No, 2018, actually. Yeah, that's around the time I made that video talking about why I think Mother 3 is better than Earthbound, right? July 12th, 2018. So, yeah, July 2018, I played that game. I played it one other time in 2020, I think, also on my phone. And yeah, I'm sure I could play it on my. I could definitely play it on my laptop. It'd be an absolute joke if my MacBook couldn't handle a fucking Game Boy Advance game. But again, I'd prefer if Nintendo were to actually officially port it, which is probably never going to happen. I would highly doubt we're ever going to see a re-release of, or at least a port of Mother 3 on, say, the Switch's online service. And hey, if Nintendo were to ever do that, if Nintendo were to ever put Mother 3 on the Switch, they'd probably lock it behind their stupid expansion pack. It's just frustrating. Plan on getting the 3DS, but I plan on getting the new 3DS XL if it is available. I already have Super Mario 3D Land, and I want to get Persona 5. That's on the 3DS. Is it? Never heard of a 3DS version of Persona 5. Kid Icarus Uprising, A Link Between Worlds, Ocarina of Time, etc. All good games. Well, I don't know anything about Kid Icarus actually. I never played any of the Kid Icarus games, but Link Between Worlds and Ocarina of Time 3D were pretty good. Persona 5 Vanilla. It's only PS3 and PS4. Royal is PS4 only. Oh, yeah, figured. Um, I do want to play Royal sometime in 2022. I just know how huge. I already know how huge of an investment it is going to be because I know the original was a huge investment, and this game has even more content in it. So that's why I'm just putting it off for a while. Then Strikers is PC, PS4, and Switch. What the hell is Strikers? I've heard of that. Is it like a sequel to Persona 5? I think I've heard that's what it is, but I could be wrong. Was it like some kind of spin-off game? Been thinking of maybe playing that someday too. I don't know, depending on what exactly it is. If it is actually a continuation, I'll maybe play it. Why do you think Nintendo doesn't want Earthbound available to the West? Well, Mother 1 and Earthbound is available to the West. Not on the Switch, though. I don't know why, but whatever. Mother 3, I really don't know. It just baffles me that Nintendo just does not want to port this game and have, Western players finally have an official way to play this fucking game. It's just a wasted opportunity. I'm sure that would print money for Nintendo considering the sheer amount of people who want to finally be able to play Mother 3 officially over here in the West. Like, it would only benefit Nintendo in the long run, but they just seem to not want to do it. I mean, I kind of understand if there was like little to no, if there was like little to no campaign for uh, for it to finally be in the West, but there is a huge amount of people who want to play this game on their Nintendo Switch. I don't know why. Again, I don't know why Nintendo just does not want to. Whatever. Nintendo's just weird. To spin off of the original Persona 5. Oh, Strikers is a spin-off slash sequel. It's a warrior style game. It's like a Hyrule Warriors style of game. I've never played Hyrule Warriors, never had an interest in it, but maybe. I was expecting it to be an RPG like the OG game is, and Royal, and like probably all the other Persona games. Oh no, I don't know much about this series. I only played 5 because it piqued my curiosity. It was free on PS Plus, and I was like, "Oh, this is the game that caused a waifu war and all that shit, and a lot of drama surrounding it." I have a lot of bad memories surrounding this game, despite never playing it. May as well give it a shot. For those of you watching who have no clue what I'm referencing, you're better off. Zone 5 Strikers is a hack and slash game. Well, so was God of War, and that was pretty fun when it wasn't immensely frustrating, so maybe I'll try it out someday. Strikers is solid, but the game got repetitive gameplay-wise. How long is the game? Is it like another 100-hour huge investment like the OG games are? Nintendo makes a lot of bad decisions like the Mario game collection ripoff, if you remember. Oh, I remember. I don't know if I should say much about that though, because I do want Skyward Sword on Switch. Again, I never played Skyward Sword on the Wii, so that's why I'm getting it on the Switch. If I had the Wii version, I would not get the Switch version. Even though I don't play on my Wii or Wii U. Yeah. 30 to 40 hours. It's not too bad. I think that's 30 hours. I think that's around how long Last of Us 2 is, so it's bearable. eBay sent me a notification. I was looking up prices for Code Veronica, the Resident Evil game on GameCube. That game is insanely expensive, bafflingly expensive, like $200 just for the disc alone. When you could buy when you could buy for like $15 on the PlayStation Store. I'm probably just gonna go with that unless I find an insane deal for the GameCube version because I wanted to complete Resident Evil collection on the GameCube. I wanted to get every single Resident Evil game that released for the GameCube, but Code Veronica is just insanely expensive. Like it nears Chibi Robo levels of just stupidly expensive. Wish Nintendo would have actually remade each of the 3D Mario games for 3D All Stars. Maybe include Super Mario All Stars with a remake of Mario Land and Mario 2 done in All Star style. Yeah, but Nintendo is lazy, so they just basically ported the games and slapped a $60 asking price for them. Most remakes are lazy, but some are really good, like RE and RE2. Resident Evil Remake is a goddamn masterpiece. I never played the original. I don't have an OG PlayStation 1. I don't have an OG PlayStation, I mean. If I did, maybe I would try out the very first Resident Evil game because I've been interested in trying that game. I like OG Resident Evil 2. Haven't played the remake yet. I really want to play the remake. I hear the remake is excellent, but OG RE2 is actually really good. I've said this in my GameCube collection video that I made a few weeks ago. When it comes to eras in general, despite RE4 being my favorite Resident Evil game, being one of my favorite Resident Evil game, being one of my favorite games of all time, I mean, when it comes to like in general, like when each era of Resident Evil, fixed camera angles, third person, first person, I think I like the fixed camera angle era of art Resident Evil the most. Provides the most challenge, definitely. The fixed camera angle games I have played thus far is Remake, RE2, OG, of course, and Zero. A lot of people hate Zero, but I like it personally. I didn't think it was as bad as most people say it is. I mean, I know it could get kind of frustrating just dumping your items on the ground as opposed to having an item box that transports items from area to area, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, on your map, you could see which floor you left your items on and which room you left your items in. So it's not like I completely lost track of where my items were. I mean, again, yeah, sure, it could be kind of a pain, when you discover a new area and then you'll have to lug your items back and forth. You have to go back and forth and lug your items to the next area. But aside from that, I didn't have too much of an issue with the game's inventory. This was a crazy week. Why? What happened? A literal waifu war over Persona 5. That's kind of what put a sour taste in my mouth when it comes to liking fictional characters. I mean, I really don't care. I really don't care if one likes a fictional character or hell even jerks off to fictional characters, but me personally, I can never get into any of that because they're not real. So therefore, I have no attachment to them. I mean, I could like them as characters, but in that way, no. I've never felt that way towards video game characters or any other character that's in any any type of fictional media. Have you heard about the new RE movie? No. Well, no, I have heard about the new RE movie. Welcome to Raccoon City, right? That's what it's called. I hear a lot of bad things about it. I'm not the type to let what people say on the internet deter me from wanting to try something out if I really do want to try something out, but I don't know. I'm not really that interested in watching any of the RE movies in general, so I don't really have much of an interest in seeing this new one. You can use some walking fat accent. I don't know what you mean by that. Had so much schoolwork, still have more to do. Oh, that sucks. I just got done with my college semester. I'm done with finals and everything. I'm now free for now at least. After this, I'm gonna probably play some more RE4 for like 2 hours and then start packing for Florida. Again, it's gonna be weird. I talked about this at the very beginning of the stream, but it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be my first Christmas away from home, away from my immediate family, because for those of you who weren't here at the very beginning, I'm actually going completely alone. My mom was supposed to go, but she's having some health problems right now. Nothing serious, don't worry. But she still thinks it's best that she doesn't go. So I'm going completely alone to Florida. So it's going to be my first Christmas away from home and away from my immediate family. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be different, but I'll try to make the best of it. I'm going to be with my dad and grandma. So find it ironic when gay people are disabled. Oh, I missed the messages. Sorry. My government teacher is fun, but the class is boring. Yeah, I can relate with that for a lot of classes. Even in December, Florida is hot as hell. Yeah, I just looked at the temperature for Florida just earlier. What was it like in the 70s? I think it actually reached 80. Oh, Florida is 78 right now. Fucking hell. Find it ironic when gay people are disabled and disabled people are conservatives, like they want to take away that person's rights. Yeah, they usually act as pawns um for bigoted conservatives like Blair White. She's seen as the one good trans, the trans girl that the trans woman that basically reaffirms all the warped views that conservatives have surrounding trans people. Same with Candace Owens, reaffirming all of the racist conservatives' warped views on black people and social movements like BLM, anti-racist social movements like BLM. It's basically a grift. That's all it really is. Well, at least the people who are public figures, regular Joe Schmo, gay people and trans people and such who are conservatives, especially hardcore Republican conservatives. I can't wrap my mind around that. Nothing serious. Don't worry. You got 6 viewers. No one cares. So You're so huge and chunky. Go work out, lose some weight, and work out. All right, dude. It's just a dumb troll. Yeah. Getting a lot of that this stream, aren't I? Hope she's well. Thank you, girl. I mean, again, I'm not gonna go into detail, but she does have some health problems, and she feels it's better to not travel. So yeah, she was invited. She has a ticket, and that ticket is good for a year, so she can go um in the future. But right now, it's probably not the best. Not COVID or anything. Again, nothing serious or anything like that. Old people don't deserve respect. If they are disrespectful or being a dick, I think you made a video on that. Yes, I did. Age does not earn you respect, or something along those lines. I think that video was called. I like that video. Made that a few months ago. And of course, I still do think that just because you're older, that does not automatically grant you respect. You could be a douchebag and be old, and the person you're being a douchebag towards has the perfect right to be a douchebag back. Jacqueline Glenn, I don't really pay attention to at all, so I don't really know what's so bad about her. I've never really watched her content. I don't know what her views are, so I can't really comment on her. Okay, Ariel Scarcella is garbage. I 100% agree with you on that. All right, I'm going to turn on the light. It's dark. There we go. You can see me again. Here's my Rush shirt. Love Rush, one of my favorite bands. Ever sick of the line, oh, they are excused for racist behavior because they come from a different generation? Really depends though. Like my grandma, who passed away a year ago, she was surprisingly pretty progressive for someone her age, but she still. I remember asking her about trans people around the time Caitlyn Jenner came out, and my grandma basically held the opinion that she thought the whole trans thing was weird, but she was still like, they're free to live their lives how they choose to. It's none of my business. That's basically the position she held. So she wasn't exactly on the pro trans rights train, but she was still like, let these people live their lives. Who cares? So, she's from a different generation. She doesn't fully understand it. She wasn't bigoted or anything. But when it comes to, old folks who are like hardcore anti trans or racist or any other hard thing of the sort, yeah, they especially if they're being bigoted towards someone, like say someone in their family, or just someone directly to their face. Yeah, I think that person is well within their rights to tell that old person off. All right, see ya. Hero of what? Rush is also my favorite band too. They're not my favorite, that goes to Pink Floyd, but Rush is definitely up there. I have way too many Pink Floyd shirts. I hate that boomers caused problems and blame it on Gen X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I hate that too. The younger generations are basically cleaning up the mess of the boomers, and yet the boomers are the ones that ridicule us. It's funny. I think Gen X is just as bad as boomers. I can understand that actually. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of Gen Xers either. A lot of them are very, very, behind or, possess a lot of the same warped viewpoints that a lot of boomers have. They're not so far off. Haven't listened to Rush much. How are they? They're great. You should definitely try them out. My favorite album by them is Hemispheres. I don't know if that's the best album to start off with. It's definitely not the most radio friendly, but it's personally my favorite. I love it a lot. My favorite is the title track, though. It's like what, 18 minutes long, I think. That song, but it's so good. It's my favorite Rush song. I love it a lot. The old people always complain about what the young people are doing. It's sad, but it happens. Yeah. Here's the plus side, though. They're probably gonna die out within the next few years, so you don't have to listen to that much longer. Pitch Shifter is one of my all-time favorite underrated bands. Yeah, I remember you playing songs by that band a couple of times, and I think UTF server, and I think a couple of times in my server too. Some good stuff from what I remember. The only thing I don't like about some young people is their refusal to get vaccinated. Yeah, but that applies to like all generations. Every generation that's alive has their share of dumb fucks who refuse to get vaccinated, refuse to comply with measures to help slow the spread of COVID. Funny thing is, many Gen Xers, such as Kurt Cobain, were very much leftists. Yeah, or at least they were when they were young. I mean, I'm not doubting there are any Gen Xers who are today leftists, but still, you know, boomers were the hippies at one point. That was the boomer generation, right? Anti-war, very much left. Now look at them, or at least most of them, or a lot of them. I like Linkin Park, particularly for Crawling. I remember when that song was a meme. I remember when a lot of Linkin Park songs were a meme right before Chester died, and after he died, those memes kind of died down for very understandable reasons. What are some modern bands you like? God, modern bands. Ooh, what is a modern band I like? A lot of the shit I listen to are like 20 years or older, or a lot of the bands I listen to are 20 years or older. I'm just scrolling through my Apple Music library right now, trying to see if there's anyone I listen to who uh who is new because there are artists I listen to that still release music today. Artists that have been around for decades that still release music today that I still enjoy. But when it comes to like actual new artists that just came out within the last few years, um, I struggle to think of one. And watch when the stream's over, I'm probably gonna rewatch this part and be like, "Oh, you forgot to say this band. Come on, that was so easy." But usually when I'm asked something like on the fly, I have trouble thinking. Maybe I'll answer that in Discord or something later. Boomers went from anti-war hippies to pro-Reagan neocon yuppies. Yeah. It's just a prime example of how, generations when they get older, they shift more to the right. You know, Gen Z, remember when OK Boomer was a huge meme and all these Gen Z, eh, what do you call Gen Zers or whatever the fuck? Yeah, I'm part of Gen Z. But all these young people were, were making all these memes, all these anti-boomer memes, dismissing everything boomers were saying with just okay boomer. When I would not be surprised if a couple of generations down the line, people are being like, when we're the old folks, when we're the old out of touch folks, people are going to be like, okay, Zoomer, just dismissing what we have to say because we're so old, we're so out of touch with, current events. Every generation when they're the young and hip ones, there's so much promise. They're going to be the ones that change things. They're the ones that are going to make the world a more positive place. And then look, like a couple of decades later, they're just conservative, right wing. That's why I just take with a grain of salt that Gen Z is going to be the generation that fixes everything. And again, I'm part of Gen Z. I'm 20 years old. I was born in 2001. So I'm not some old folk saying this. You have Discord? Yes, I do. It's in the description. My server's in the description. It's been having some raid problems, but I'll if you do join it, I'll make sure that make sure that the mods know that you're not someone uh, malicious. R.I.P. Kirby Marrow from Ninjago. I don't know what that is. I've heard of Ninjago, but I don't know who Kirby Marrow is. I assume someone who acted in that show or voice acted or whatever kind of show it is. Old conservatives. Back in my day, everyone dressed to their gender. Meanwhile, Eddie Van Halen and glam metal exists. Hey, David Bowie too. Man Who Sold the World is an album from what, 1971? He's wearing a fucking dress on the cover. He was the one that basically put cross dressing on the map, essentially. I don't know if anyone big before him was doing that. By the way, David Bowie is one of my favorite artists ever. Love his music so much. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. One of the very few celebrity deaths that really got to me, by the way. Him, Chris Cornell. I'm Gen Z too, since I was born in 2003. Cool. I'm 2 years older than you. I was born in March of 2001. I'm going to be 21 in a few months. Drinking age. Wowzers. Well, since the stream is pretty much dying, I'll announce it now. I'm probably going to end it within 20 minutes, maybe. Probably. Almost certainly. I got to start packing. I got a trip coming up. I'm going to be gone for 6 days. Maybe I'll record a video in that span of time like I did the last time I was in Florida. I made a video about what Sony doing something stupid with the PS5. I'll probably do something like that again. Maybe. So the channel won't be completely dead for like a week. If I have something I really want to talk about, at least. I'm not going to force myself to make a video on vacation. The fuck is my uncle talking to? He's been talking for a fucking hour. I was hoping to have the house to myself when I was streaming because I did before I started streaming, and then he comes like 5 minutes before I started the stream. I was eating breakfast, and then he came. I haven't listened to David Bowie, but R.I.P. David Bowie. Yeah, it's really sad. His last album is amazing. one of my favorite Bowie albums. I think the stuff he made later in life is uh, almost just as good as the stuff he made when he was young. I love his last few albums. I think he kind of dropped off in the 80s though, but he made a big resurgence in the 90s, or at least a big resurgence in quality in the 90s. A lot of rock artists in the 70s kind of went pop in the 80s, and I was not really a fan of that. Bowie is no exception. Weird how so many Queen fans are homophobic. Is that really a problem in the Queen fan base? That sucks. I know Brian May said some cringe shit about trans people recently. I That was really disheartening considering, I know Freddie Mercury wasn't trans, but he was a huge he still is a huge LGBT icon. Fucking hell, one of the most famous LGBT people. Unapologetically flamboyant. It was awesome. It really sucks to see someone, who was in a band that was led by a person like that now be a bigot towards people who are within that community. But oh well. Oh well. I mean, separate the art from the artist, I guess, even though Brian May was not the only person in Queen. Same with John from System of a Down, the drummer. He's a trumper, despite System of a Down's music being hard left. And now Serge Tankian, the front man, selling NFTs, despite all the pro environment songs System of a Down has. And you know how awful NFTs are for the fucking environment. David Bowie was also a big fan of SpongeBob, and he voiced the guy from. Yeah, I know. He voiced the blue guy that was in Atlantis Square Panis. I don't know if he actually said this, but I remember reading that he did that voice because his daughter really loves SpongeBob, and SpongeBob reminded him of being Kai, so uh he wanted to do a voice in SpongeBob. Too bad it wasn't a good special. I remember not liking that special when I was a kid, and I don't know, probably wouldn't hold up today if I were to watch it again. I do want to watch that special though, even though I'm probably not going to like it, but just to hear David Bowie voice a SpongeBob character, I think that salvages it a little bit, even though it's a musical that doesn't have David Bowie singing. Yeah, Serge is against Trump, but John wasn't. Well, Serge is selling NFTs, so I really hope Darren and Chavo don't become cringe. They're the last two good ones. Yeah, John Delmane's Insta is really cringe. I am sure. I haven't ventured onto his Instagram, but I'm sure it's very cringe. Well, I think actually I remember hearing like a year ago John and Serge were having an argument on Instagram. I forget what the argument was about. I think it was about socialism. I forget. I wonder if that plays a factor into why System of a Down hasn't released a new album since 2000 fucking 5. I know they put out those 2 singles last year, and that was just a huge shock. I thought it was dreaming when those singles first dropped. I was really hoping that those were teasers for a new album, but alas, they were just 2 singles to raise awareness for conflicts in Armenia. But still, it was really nice hearing some new material from that band. I don't know if we'll ever get anything new though. Probably just a one-off thing. I thought the special was all right as a kid, but it's kind of mad now that I'm older. Oh, yeah. But Even back when I was a kid, I didn't like it. I like that one other special though that a lot of people hate. The surfing one, the big one, I think it's called. The one that had Johnny Depp in it. Was that Johnny Depp? I think so. I liked that as a kid. A lot of people hate it. I don't know if I'd like it now. It had that one really funny joke though that I still love. I remember coming across a clip of it on my YouTube homepage of Davy Jones from the Monkees throwing socks at the Flying Dutchman. If that special really is garbage, then that's the one shining glimmer. Because that got a laugh out of me, even as an adult. I remember watching my mother loves the Monkees. I remember watching that special with her, and she was freaking out when she saw Davy Jones there. He's dead now, isn't he? Did you know Slayer was conflicted with Tom Araya being a conservative and Gary Holt being a liberal? I did not know he was a conservative. I don't really know much about Slayer. I like Slayer's music. I like a couple of their albums, but I don't really know much about the members. That's too bad, but I still like the music. Monitor the Kingdom of the Dead. Bro, I love System of a Down. Yeah, one of my favorite metal bands, hands down. Wish their discography was bigger, but maybe they stopped at the right time. I don't know. Maybe if they were to go on, their music would have dropped in quality. I don't know. I'm already not as big of a fan of Mesmerize and Hypnotize as I am the other three. You mean SpongeBob versus the big one? Yeah, that's special. Ironic Slayer's music is the way it is considering Tom is a conservative Christian. I know he's a Christian. I remember hearing about that. I didn't know he was a conservative. Yeah, it's funny though, him being a Christian and a lot of Slayer's lyrics are, something that many Christians would cringe at. Hardcore cringe at. My mom, oh shit, she hated Slayer. My dad is like the biggest Slayer fan ever. His favorite band of all time. He would always play it in the car just to piss her off. And she was like, "Don't play that in front of in front of our son." And I ended up actually liking it. My dad was a huge influence on my music taste. She still hates Slayer a lot, and she doesn't like that I like Slayer, but I'm 20 years old. What the fuck is she gonna do now? Have you ever heard of this band called Upon a Burning Body? I just heard of them last night and I was like, what the fuck at that name? Never heard of them. Name sounds kind of interesting, though. Kiss sucks, though. I did see that video, by the way. That is surprisingly not a video I'm embarrassed over, even though I was screaming in that video. No, Kiss didn't actually make me that mad. I did clarify at the end of that video that, that video was largely um, exaggeration. But most of that comment section most certainly didn't make it to that point in the video because a lot of them called me unstable and still call me unstable. It's funny. I don't know if I'll ever regret that video someday, but I still like it today. It's funny. I think I had some shit going on in my life at the time when I made that video, and I just wanted to make a video where I just let all that anger out. Had some personal stuff going on around the time, so I was like, "What could I direct my anger towards? Let me direct my anger towards something I really hate, something really stupid and trivial too, so the video would be even more funny." And then I was like, "Oh, I heard a Kiss song recently on the radio. I hate Kiss, so why not direct my anger towards Kiss?" And that really paid off because that's one of my most viewed videos. Yeah, I still do hate Kiss. Garbage band. Gene Simmons is a garbage human being too. Surprisingly, actually, he's against anti-vaxxers, but still, that doesn't excuse all the other awful shit he has said throughout the years, like suicidal people or what did he say? Suicidal people should just kill themselves or whatever. Yeah, awful person. I think he's a Trumper too, but don't quote me on that. I hate that Chris Pratt is getting casted in Mario and Garfield. It's rumored that he might be in a third Sonic movie. Why is Chris Pratt in like every children's movie now? What the fuck? But yeah, I don't have high hopes for that Mario movie. Not like I'm gonna see it, but still. Why Chris Pratt? Does he does he do that good of a Mario impression? I never heard his Mario voice. I kind Originally I did kind of wish they would get the guy that already voices Mario in the games, Charles Martinet, to do the movie, but I know probably voicing a character in a movie is a completely different beast to voicing a character in a video game where you can get away with a character just saying wahoo or yeah or other one word phrases and catchphrases and such, and that doesn't really go over that well in a movie format where typically it's dialogue heavy. You still like singing to songs, especially personal ones like Jeremy? I mean, Jeremy by Pearl Jam? No, I don't sing along to that song, and I don't like singing along to songs in general. My mom loves singing along to songs. When a song comes up on the radio, she's singing along to it, and she's like, "Oh, come on, join me, sing along." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to." She just kind of pesters me about it, but I never give in. But she has sang along to Jeremy, and I rather not sing along to Jeremy, considering that song's subject matter. Doesn't seem like a song that's appropriate to sing along to. Eddie Vedder has a fantastic voice, by the way. No one dare try to sing over him. Ugh, I gotta charge my computer. Tell me the battery is low. Those Eddie impressions are always cringe, though. A lot of impressions of a lot of singers are usually cringe because a lot of singers have quite a few singers have some really unique voices that people just cannot impersonate. So don't even bother. Just sing the song in your own style. Don't even bother trying to sound like the original because the original singer just has that unique of a voice that can't really be easily replicated. Thankfully, my mom doesn't try to sing like Eddie Vedder, not like she can anyway. Isn't Chris Pratt homophobic? Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about some of his cringe politics, but I don't know that much about that. Charles deserves to voice Mario in the movie. If I remember correctly, he does have a cameo in the movie. I think he voices some or a couple of characters in the movie. I don't know. I heard he's gonna make some kind of appearance in the movie in some way, but overall, I'm not crazy about this upcoming Mario movie. Should be better than the one that was in the '90s though, or the '80s, whenever that live action movie came out. But that's setting a really low bar, isn't it? Jack Black as Bowser is the only decent casting choice. Yeah, that should be interesting. I don't know how I feel about Black being Bowser, but we'll see how that goes. Doesn't Jack Black have a gaming channel or a Twitch channel, whatever? I know he is doing something on social media. I'm not really crazy about any video game having a movie or TV show adaptation. Well, The Last of Us is supposed to have an HBO show. We'll see how that goes. I I'll probably watch that when that comes out. I got an HBO Max subscription, so wouldn't hurt to at least try it out when it comes out in like a year or 2 years or whenever that's supposed to come out. Maybe Charles might be Wario. Is Wario going to be in the movie? Most video game movies usually suck. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I don't hear many good things about the Resident Evil movies, but I can't really comment on them. But I hear people defend them by saying they're just dumb fun. So I guess it wouldn't hurt to try them someday, even though I'm really not that interested in watching them. Not because other people say they suck, it's just because I legitimately just don't care. I try not to base my opinion over what people on the internet are saying about a certain thing these days. Yes, I will do more rant videos. The rant videos are pretty much the basis of my channel, so it's a safe bet that I will be making rant videos in the future. Don't you worry. No, my next video is going to be a baking video. Then after that, a makeup tutorial video. Just joking. Seen all of them. The live action ones suck. The CG ones are pretty good, though, in my opinion, at least. Wasn't there a Netflix series or a mini series that came out recently that follows the events of 4? Supposed to be about Leon in the White House or whatever. I forget. Or is that a movie? I don't know. In the 90s were good times. Cartoons were better and everything. I think rock music with regular and hip hop, and I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's all right. The voice actor doesn't suit Leon, in my opinion, though. My favorite voice actor for Leon is the guy that voiced Leon in 4. Just has such a natural coolness to him. Even the dorky lines Leon has in 4 just sound cool. That guy voicing him. I think the voice in OG2 suited him well. Was just a rookie cop, and I think the guy in 6 really overdid it. But that 4 was my favorite, without a doubt. His voice in 4. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the stream now. Speaking of Resident Evil 4, I'm probably gonna play more of that just to procrastinate having to pack up for Florida even further. But yeah, anyway, this was fun. Really enjoyed this stream. And yes, I will do a stream in January. I'm keeping the tradition of doing one stream a month. And yeah, this channel will probably be barren for the next week because I'm going to Florida. And I might make a video, like I mentioned. I did do one video in Florida, but I'm not going to promise that. If I do really want to make a video in Florida, I will make one, but I'm not going to force myself to because I will be on vacation with my father and my grandmother. So yeah, that's video making is a very will be a very low priority the next week when I'm in Florida. But yeah, anyways, thank you all for being here. And for those of you who were here before and are not here now, thank you for being here regardless. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord server, all that good shit. I don't know why I'm pimping out my social media. I usually never do that. But yeah, anyways, see ya.